You woke up in a bed with your head wrapped in bandages. You were thinking about what happened when you just woke up. You thought and thought until you finally remembered about what happened. You were getting chased by something, not something. It was covered by ink. You were confused, worried, scared, panicking nervously, thinking in your mind that, what was that? You didn't think too much about it when you heard something open the door. It was that thing again. You got scared a bit when you looked shocked and fear. You saw the thing pick up a notepad and pencil. When he picked up the pencil, it sank into his inky skin. You were confused and you saw it got mad, and then you backed up a little bit. When it looked at you, it calmed down a bit and decided to write with its finger on the pen, this paper pad. You thought you wanted to speak when it was writing, but you stopped when he showed you the paper and it said, "I'm sorry for scaring you earlier. You weren't the person that I was after." You thought to yourself, what do you mean by after? But you could tell it was trying to be calm about this. That's when you spoke. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I am confused more what you are. The thing looked at you and wrote again after it ripped a piece of paper off. After it does that, you saw it writing. And it said, "I'm Bendy. Bendy the dancing ink demon." You thought to yourself in fear more, saying, "What? How can that cute demon size become this?" You were freaking out nervously inside your head while you were looking at it. It turned its head at you and wrote on the paper, saying, "I know it's shocking, but take a breather. You were injured badly when you fell through the pit." You spoke again, saying, "What happened to this place? It used to be so loving and happiness here. What happened? And what happened to Boris? He had his chest ripped open." You were freaking out with tears. He wanted to touch your cheek, but he was scared too. After he wrote on the paper of what happened back then with Sammy and everybody, you were stopped in your tracks and thinking more and more. You never wanted thought of it, of what happened to this lovely little studio that you stopped and thought when he showed you a piece of paper. He asked you what was your name. You looked at him and told him your name. And he knows you were still shooken up, so he put a blanket around you to keep you safe. He did warn you, do not leave the room afterwards when he flipped you another paper. You asked him why, but then that's when he left. You stopped and thought in the room you were in. You looked around to see what was there. There was just posters of a ripped ink Bendy poster. You wanted to know why more. Why did your uncle and your dad not tell you about this? You were touching the posters and reading them. You thought of the happy memories that it brought you when you were a kid. But then you heard the door open again and Bendy brought you a bowl of ink soup. You looked at it at first and then you remembered and smiled, saying the ink soup that you remembered. of the commercial they made about it. It was pretty famous. Well, back then, you thought. He gave you the bowl and the spoon. You started to eat it. You didn't care how old it was, you needed to eat. And as an eat, you scuffed it down without even thinking about it. Bendy was shocked that you were hungry, he guessed. That's when you looked up at him when he was looking at you. He turned around nervously and walked away. You stopped him in your tracks and asked, "Why did you help me? I mean, if I wasn't the person you're after, then who?" He stopped you with a pen and paper saying, "Let's not talk about it for now. You need some rest." After you rested up, it's been a couple of hours. You wanted to venture out of the room and everything. But Bendy's been coming back with stuff like music, food, blankets, extra pillows, plushies. You wanted to go home. That's all you ever wanted, was just to go home. But seeing your favorite character that turned into this was painful. You never wanted to see this happening to Bendy or Boris. You can't even imagine what happened to Alice. Same with the other characters. A couple more hours went past. Bendy hadn't came back yet. You thought maybe you could venture out of the room. So you took out a pin out of your hair and tried to pick lock the door. After you opened the door and walked out, you thought to yourself, "This is my chance. This is my chance to find my way home." You felt bad for going behind Benny's back and leaving the room. You hoped and prayed that he was never going to be mad at you after what you're doing. After you walked out of the room and closed the door quietly, you were walking around looking. After you saw a staircase leading downward, you were wondering, is this the way out? Without any thought, your legs started moving going down the stairs. And then you opened the door to another room. You thought to yourself, dang it, this wasn't supposed to be this long. How long is this place? How big is this place? After you go down the hallways, you saw another door. You didn't want to open it, but you thought maybe this is going to be the way back. After you opened the door and walked in, you saw rooms where they practice studios, voice actings, drawings, and then you saw an axe hanging on the wall. You were wondering why there was an axe, but you didn't think too much of it. You picked up the axe and walked with it. It was pretty heavy, you thought, when you were holding it with two hands. When you opened the door, you heard some noises. You turned around and saw an ink thing crawling to you. You smacked it a couple times and it disappeared. You were shocked and looked at it with an expressing face. And you thought to yourself, okay, that was weird. You decided to ignore the fact you just did that and try to look for clues how to get out of there. After you found a couple of clues, you flipped the lever through one of the rooms there. And then when you walked back to the door was locked. So you had to find the key to open it. After you searched and searched the whole place, you finally found the key and opened the door. When you walked in, it was a musical room. And that is it, guys, for Meeting Bendy Part 2. I hope you guys liked it. I know it took a while, but hey, it was worth the wait. I had fun drawing this with my friend, and here he is on the screen right now. I'm so sorry. That was my phone. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more, let me know. We already made part 3 and 4, so just in case you guys want to hear it. Anyways, bye guys. Are you reading the walls? Did you get my clues? There's a